In the 16th century in the city of Nottingham, the story begins with a young thief named Marion sneaking into a stable to steal a horse. But before she can escape, she is caught by the horse's owner, a nobleman named Lord Robin of the Luxley family. Instead of turning her in, Robin is struck by her boldness and quickly falls for her. He lets her take the horse, on one condition, that she agrees to be with him. And from that moment, his life begins to change forever. This is Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
As time passes, their relationship grows deeper and more serious. They often meet at Robin's estate, building a quiet life together. But everything changes when Robin receives a letter from the Sheriff of Nottingham, ordering him to join the Crusades. With no choice but to obey, Robin leaves behind his wealth and the woman he loves. For the next 4 years, Robin fights alongside fellow soldiers against the forces of Samsamor in the Arabian Peninsula. During one battle, he teams up with his comrade Clayton to take down an enemy unit operating a powerful archery machine. Robin climbs up a structure and successfully eliminates the archer. Afterward, he and the others move in to hunt down the remaining enemies, but Clayton suddenly disappears. Robin and his unit begin searching for him, only to walk straight into an ambush. The enemy forces have captured Clayton and use him as bait. What follows is a brutal fight, with Crusader soldiers being cut down one by one. Still, the Crusaders manage to push back by launching massive stones, forcing the enemy into retreat. In the middle of the chaos, Robin comes face to face with Yahya bin Umar, a general of the opposing army. The two engage in a fierce duel, and Yahya manages to overpower Robin. But just as the fight reaches its peak, a Crusader commander intervenes, capturing Yahya. Soon after, the Crusaders take control of the city and begin executing captured enemies to extract information. Robin, who still holds on to his sense of honor, strongly opposes this, pointing out that the prisoners are no longer armed. But his commander, Gisborne, ignores him and continues the executions without hesitation. The situation grows even darker when Gisborne captures a young man named Selim, who turns out to be Yahya's son. He forces Yahya to reveal information in exchange for his son's life. Desperate, Yahya gives in, but Gisborne betrays him and proceeds with the execution anyway. Robin attempts to intervene and save Selim, but he is struck by an arrow before he can do anything. Selim is killed right in front of his father, leaving Yahya completely devastated. After this incident, Robin is sent back home on a medical ship to recover from his injuries. Unknown to everyone, Yahya manages to escape and secretly boards the same ship. When Robin finally returns home, the first thing he does is head straight to his estate, hoping to reunite with Marion. But what he finds instead is devastating. His home has been destroyed, and everything he once owned has been seized by the Sheriff of Nottingham. With nowhere else to go, Robin seeks out his old friend, a priest named Tuck. Tuck is shocked to see him alive because 2 years earlier, the sheriff had officially declared Robin dead in battle. Using that lie as an opportunity, the sheriff took control of Robin's wealth, claiming it was needed to fund the war. In reality, the money is being used to strengthen the sheriff's political power. On top of that, the people of Nottingham are being heavily taxed under the same excuse, and those who cannot pay are driven out of the city. Determined to find Marion, Robin heads into town and eventually spots her working as a vendor. But the reunion does not go as he imagined. Marion has moved on and is now with a man named Will. The sight leaves Robin heartbroken. At that moment, he is approached by Yahya, who has secretly followed him back. Yahya expresses his gratitude for Robin's attempt to save his son, then offers him a new purpose, to fight back against the sheriff. He reveals that the war is not about faith at all, but about power, and that the leaders on both sides are exploiting the people for their own gain.
I lost my hand in this war. My people were in chains, and my son was murdered.
Together, they attend a public meeting led by the sheriff, who is once again trying to convince the citizens to pay for the war. This time, Marion and Will openly oppose him, pointing out that the people are already struggling just to survive. During the meeting, Tuck steps forward and reveals that Robin is still alive. The announcement shocks everyone, including Marion and the sheriff, who now faces the reality that everything he took from Robin rightfully belongs to him. After witnessing the sheriff's speech, Yahya lays out a plan. Instead of confronting him directly, They will cut off his power by stealing the wealth he relies on to fund the war. He explains that Nottingham itself functions as a financial hub for the Crusades. However, Yahya cannot carry out the plan on his own, as he lost the use of his right hand in the war. So he chooses Robin to take on the role. To prepare him, Yahya begins training Robin in archery, pushing him to become faster and more precise. They return to Robin's ruined estate and turn it into a secret training ground. One day, while Robin is setting up targets, Marion suddenly arrives at the door. He wants to see her, but Yahya stops him. Getting close to Marion now would only risk exposing their plan, and worse, it could put her directly in danger. The training begins in an unusual way. Yahya asks Robin to shoot directly at him.
Please. I said shoot me. Too slow. Fast as you can. Again. Come on, English.
Robin fires, but every arrow is deflected with ease. In that moment, Yahya realizes that Robin's speed is still far too slow. To fix this, he hands over his own bow, a weapon that significantly boosts both speed and power.
Try again.
Days turn into weeks, and Robin continues to train under Yahya's guidance. With each session, his skills sharpen and his confidence grows. Once Yahya is satisfied with his progress, he introduces the next step of the plan. Robin must get close to the sheriff, earn his trust, and gain access to the flow of money. That way they can discover where the wealth is being stored. But there is one problem. Robin has no money to begin with, so Yahya pushes him to take action. His first mission is to intercept the tax money being collected by the sheriff's soldiers. While the soldiers are busy gathering payments from the townspeople, Robin suddenly appears and takes them out. One by one, the guards fall, and Robin walks away with the stolen tax money. The next morning, he approaches the sheriff in his noble identity and presents the money as a contribution. The sheriff, seeing this unexpected loyalty, welcomes him and invites him to speak further at the church. There, Robin crosses paths with Marion again and realizes that her feelings for him have not completely faded. But she is still with Will, and nothing can change that. Before things go too far, Yahya pulls Robin away, reminding him that getting close to Marion now could ruin everything. Robin returns to his mission. This time, he targets the sheriff's collected funds while they are being handled by Tucker. After successfully stealing the money, he begins secretly redistributing it to the people, including Marion, without revealing his identity. By the next day, the sheriff is furious. The stolen taxes have become a serious problem, and Tuck takes the blame. Under pressure, he describes the mysterious thief as tall, lean, and always hidden behind a hood. Later that night, as Robin moves through the city, he stumbles upon Marion and Tuck meeting in secret. Curious, he listens in and discovers that they are planning to expose the sheriff's corruption and rally the people to fight back. From that point on, Robin fully embraces his role. He continues stealing from the system and giving back to the people, day after day. And before long, the city begins to whisper a new name, the Hood. The next day, Robin attends a secret meeting held by the sheriff and several church officials to discuss the growing threat of the Hood. Playing his part perfectly, Robin suggests that the Hood should be captured and executed. The idea earns him even more trust from the sheriff, who soon rewards him with a seat on the political council. Not long after, Robin joins a formal gathering where he meets Will, now acting as the voice of the people. The two cross paths in a tense atmosphere, as Will grows increasingly frustrated with the Hood. While Will tries to inspire change through words, the people are beginning to rally behind a figure who actually takes action. The following day, Robin and Yahya move forward with their plan by targeting the wealth taken from war spoils. Robin sneaks into the storage area by hiding beneath a cart, managing to get inside unnoticed at first. But his cover is quickly blown by one of the workers, and within seconds he is surrounded by guards. Instead of retreating, Robin fights back. Using the skills he has trained for, he takes down the guards one after another. In the middle of the chaos, he is struck by an arrow in the thigh, forcing him to pull back. He leaps from above and lands directly onto Yahya's moving cart, and the two escape together, drawing attention from the entire area. By now, the actions of the Hood have gone too far to ignore. The sheriff and Tuck are summoned by the high priest, who warns them that the chaos has caught the attention of the highest council. A cardinal is set to arrive the next night. To prepare, the sheriff is ordered to host a grand celebration in his honor. Once the high priest leaves, the sheriff immediately calls upon his most trusted commander, Gisborne, assigning him to hunt down the hood. Soon enough, the celebration begins. Beneath the surface of religion and authority, the gathering quickly turns into a display of indulgence, filled with drinking, gambling, and excess. At the event, Robin encounters Gisborne, who still holds a grudge against him from the past. Blending in, Robin joins the games and moves among the elites, eventually crossing paths with Marion, who is secretly carrying out her own plan. At the same time, Tuck manages to steal a key from one of the priests and passes it to Marion. Without hesitation, she slips away and heads to a secured room to retrieve documents that record the flow of wealth. As this unfolds, the cardinal meets with the sheriff to discuss the hood. Right in the middle of it, Robin steps in with Tuck at his side, presenting him as a priest. The situation quickly escalates, and the cardinal orders that Tuck be executed. But Robin intervenes at the last moment, offering a different solution. Instead of execution, he suggests stripping Tuck of his position. The proposal is accepted, and Tuck narrowly escapes with his life. After Tuck is taken away, the cardinal gives a harsh new order. The sheriff must seize all wealth from the people, claiming that the King of England needs funds to continue the war. Without hesitation, the sheriff sends Gisborne and his troops into the city to carry it out. Once they arrive, the soldiers begin stripping the citizens of everything they own. When Marion tries to stop them, she is captured. Just as she is about to be taken away, Robin and Yahya step in. They take control of a cart and pull her out of danger, triggering a high-speed chase through the streets as Gisborne's men pursue them. During the escape, Marion finally realizes the truth. The hood is none other than Robin. The chase intensifies, with soldiers closing in from all sides. Robin jumps onto Gisborne's cart and takes control of one of the horses, trying to create distance. But the escape does not last long. His horse is struck by an arrow, forcing him to leap off a bridge and land back onto Yahya's cart. Moments later, Gisborne fires an explosive arrow that sends all three of them crashing to the ground. Realizing the situation, Yahya makes a decision. He tells Robin and Marion to run while he stays behind to hold off the soldiers. Despite his efforts, he is eventually overwhelmed and captured. The next morning, Yahya is brought in for interrogation. The sheriff demands the identity of the hood, but Yahya refuses to give anything away. Even under pressure, he stands firm, driven by his own sense of justice and revenge. At the same time, Will gathers the townspeople and urges them to leave Nottingham, believing the city is no longer safe. But before they can act, the hood appears in front of them and reveals his true identity as Robin, the noble they once knew. With the truth out, Robin calls on the people to stand their ground and fight back against the sheriff. His words carry weight, and the crowd quickly rallies behind him. Seeing a nobleman willing to risk everything for them changes everything. Robin, Marion, and Will then meet up with Tuck, who expresses his gratitude after being freed from his position. Tuck opens the documents Marion had stolen earlier, revealing something critical. The money taken from the people is set to be delivered to the king in just 2 days. With time running out, they begin planning their next move. Robin gathers the townspeople at his estate under the cover of teaching them how to bake. But instead of food, they are secretly preparing weapons, turning simple materials into makeshift explosives, and setting traps to stop the transport. Soon, the day of the shipment arrives, led by the sheriff himself. At the same time, Yahya, still imprisoned and being tortured, manages to kill a guard and break free. He escapes his cell and discovers a storage room filled with weapons. As the sheriff prepares to leave the fortress with the money, the townspeople make their move. Large wooden structures are brought down to block the path, and right on cue, Will leads the crowd into open chaos, igniting the rebellion they have been building toward. At the same time, Robin and Marion put their plan into motion. They ignite the wood beneath the street, weakening the ground under the cart carrying the money. As the chaos spreads, the structure finally gives way, and the cart collapses into the trench below. Without wasting a second, the two of them begin securing the money and sending it toward the forest. But just as the last of it is moved, Robin is suddenly struck by an arrow. Marion quickly pulls it out and tends to his wound, doing whatever she can to stop the bleeding. Unnoticed by them, Will sees everything, and the moment leaves him deeply hurt. Not long after, Will is caught in the chaos and takes a hit that sends him falling into the flames, leaving his face badly burned. Nearby, Gisborne spots Robin and immediately goes after him. The two clash in a final fight, and this time, Robin comes out on top. With the fight over, Robin and Marion head toward the docks, only to realize that Will is nowhere to be found. Knowing he should have made it to the forest, they turn back. When they find him, his face is badly injured, and his anger is impossible to hide after what he witnessed. Seeing an opportunity, the cardinal appoints him as the new sheriff of Nottingham. With his new power, Will wastes no time issuing a warrant for the capture of the Hood. Robin answers in his own way. From a distance, he fires an arrow straight into the wanted notice held by Will, making it clear that the fight is far from over. And that is where the story comes to an end. So the moral of the story is if a rich guy lets you steal his horse and date him, you might accidentally start a revolution, steal taxes for fun, and create a jealous ex who becomes your biggest enemy.